और वेनेजुएला में भी नोटबंदी कर दी गई है, लेकिन विरोधियों की वजह से 2 जनवरी तक नोटबंदी पर रोक लगा दी गई है। वहीं तुर्की में रूस के राजदूत की हत्या के बाद क्या कुछ कहना है वेनेजुएला का, हमारे संवाददाता अली अब्बास नकवी ने भारत में वेनेजुएला के राजदूत आउगोस्तो मुनितेल से इन सभी मुद्दों पर खास बातचीत की। आइए देखते हैं।
हमारे साथ खुद वेनेजुएला के जो भारत में राजदूत हैं वो हमारे साथ खुद हैं। एक्सलेंसी, व्हाट इज द मेन प्रॉब्लम बिहाइंड द
demonetization issue?
इन वेनेजुएला?
Well, that the 100 Bolivar notes, 90% of the 100 Bolivar notes had been taken illegally, smuggled out of Venezuela. They have been doing that for many months in order to cause economic disruption, economic instability, economic aggressions against Venezuela and against the currency in Venezuela. So the government saw such a situation, and the government decided to then, hence, since the 90% of all the currency notes is outside Venezuela, the 100 note bills, then the government said, well, those bills then become illegal inside Venezuela. And once he did that, the president of Venezuela, then many members of mafias in Colombia tried to bring into Venezuela through the border all these lorries of bills. And that's why then the president decided to close the border with Colombia until this situation with the bills that have illegally been taken out from Venezuela into Colombia by political agents, by financial agents trying to destabilize the situation in Venezuela is over. He decided to then ban the 100 Bolivar notes, and because of the delay in the arrival in Venezuela of the 500 and 1,000 Bolivar notes from Sweden, which is where they are being made, then the decision was postponed for only 2 weeks. So on the 2nd of January, the 100 Bolivar bills will be out of circulation, and the new monetary cone will be in expansion as from the 2nd of January, because they have already been arriving to Venezuela in the last 3 days.
So what is cause of monetary crisis?
The monetary crisis is an artificial crisis, is an induced manufactured crisis, so that the currency unit of Venezuela gets devalued. Let me tell you this example. The government decided to take out of circulation the 100 Bolivar bill notes that were 90% of them in Colombia. In 1 week, the dollar against the Bolivar came down 55%, almost 60% was reduced. Why has such a thing happened? Because the level of the dollar against the Bolivar, because of such situation, is simply artificial, which shows that the attack against the currency of Venezuela and against the economy of Venezuela has political motivations.
So what is the role of USA, Brazil and Colombia?
Well, in Colombia, 1/3 of the territory of Colombia is served with goods, services, and medicines from Venezuela. And they were taking the bills into Colombia. They have been also starting doing that in the border with Brazil. And the United States, not the people, the United States agencies, and a web page called Dollar Today has been used to destabilize the economy in Venezuela through the currency exchange value. That's why, I repeat, in 1 week after the decision by President Maduro, wise decision and brave decision, the value of the dollar has come down almost 60% against the Bolivar, which means that the whole exchange operations were, in the past few months, in the last 6 months or so, a completely artificial bubble created simply to attack the Venezuelan currency.
So recently, Russia ambassador to Turkey has been assassinated. What is your statement?
No assassination is acceptable. No assassination is viable. Its violence should be eliminated from international politics. International law must be obeyed, and the principles of the United Nations must be respected. If countries are respected, if their internal matters of countries are respected, these things wouldn't happen.
So last question, what do you say that the situation of Syria?
The United Nations has got together, and there is a situation now in Aleppo. They are saying that Aleppo is now has been freed. Well, let the Syrians decide about the Syrian government, about the Syrian politics, internal politics, for any country, for India, for Venezuela, for any country. Every country should be let alone to design their own future and their fate. That is the principle of the United Nations.
साफ तौर पे मेरे साथ थे खुद वेनेजुएला के भारत में राजदूत एक्सेलेंसी ऑगस्टो मंटिल जी। उन्होंने साफ तौर पे यही कहा कि जिस तरीके से नोटबंदी की बात थी तो वो साफ तौर पे हम शुरू फिर से वो करेंगे कुछ 2 हफ्ते के बाद, लेकिन जिस तरीके से रूस के जो राजदूत की जिस तरीके से हत्या की गई है खुलेआम, तो उससे भी एक तरीके से उन्हें बहुत शौक़ है और वो एक तरीके से यही चाहते हैं कि पूरे देश में और पूरे विश्व में यूनाइटेड स्टेट सब एक साथ अपना काम करते रहें और एकता की मिसाल बनती रहे। कैमरा पर्सन अनिल भारद्वाज के साथ मली अब्बास, नकवी A to Z न्यूज़, दिल्ली।